On the night of December 14th, 1993 at 10:05 p.m., a 19-year-old went after hours at Chuck E. Cheese to seek revenge on an old job. This is the story of Nathan Dunlap, also known as the Chuck E. Cheese Massacre of 1995. Hi, my name's Soluna, and you're listening to Dangerous Patterns, Crime and Caution. Usually, I have my partner Emily with me, and this is a re-recording of our first episode. Because unfortunately, the original episode got corrupted. We weren't able to retrieve it, and we were supposed to doing it with Emily, but she wasn't able to here today. So, yeah. So today, we are going to be covering the Chuck E. Cheese Massacre of 1995, which is a case people don't really know about. Dunlap was born... Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. The reason me and Emily, who's not here right now, created this podcast was to show people these signs of criminals and what to do when you're in situations like these people from our crime cases. And also, we both love crime. This is our 20 time project. And we really like crime cases, crime podcasts, and we want to shed light on some of these cases which might be known, but people don't really know a lot about it. So Dunlap was born on April 8th, 1947. He was raised in Chicago, Illinois, Memphis, Tennessee, and Michigan, and then moved to Colorado in 1984. His mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. When Nathan was 14 in his high school years, he attempted suicide. Also, when he was 15, he robbed several banks with the weapons of guns and golf clubs. Now, I think this is where it really starts. His mother with schizophrenia and bipolar probably meant that he went through some stuff in his childhood, and the fact that after he was robbing banks, especially with guns and golf clubs, it starts to show some sort of early development of what may happen in their future years. A lot of times criminals will start out young. A lot of times they will start out with a small criminal record and will slowly grow from there. So with all his robberies, he spent time in juvie, but when he got out, he sold drugs. He eventually got his famous job at Chuck E. Cheese, which is the place we're talking about. So during the summer of 1993, he got fired from his summer job for arguing with another cook, so he decided to take revenge. And in my opinion, that is incredibly dumb, He decided to go on this massacre and kill a bunch of people because he got fired. Because he was arguing? I don't know. It's not very smart in my case. But this has never happened to me. I've never been in this man's situation, so I have no idea. So when he got there, it wasn't closed yet, so he bought a ham and cheese sandwich and played some arcade games. Then at 9:50, he opened the door to the bathroom and hid in there until the store closed. The part where he says he bought a ham and cheese sandwich and played some arcade games, to me, it's so strange how normal me and my friend Emily, we talked about this in our original file before it got corrupted, we couldn't upload it. But we both thought it was incredibly weird and strange about how he was able to be so calm and act as if he was just another customer right before killing a bunch of people gruesomely. It's strange in a way, So the first shot was fired to Sylvia Crowell, who was 19. She was only 19 at the time. She was still a teenager, and she was cleaning a salad bar. Right after she got shot, Ben Grant was 17, younger, got shot near the left eye while he was vacuuming. This is crazy because, as you'll see in most of them are teenagers. The youngest is 17. The oldest, excluding the manager, who we'll talk about a little bit, was 20. Including the manager, the oldest is 50, but she's kind of the outlier. So the age ranges between 17 to 20, which I think is absolutely horrible. These people had so many years ahead of them. They had so much life ahead of them, just for them to be shot because a guy was mad that, you know, he got fired because he was arguing. My opinion, that was really dumb. So, there was a woman named Colleen O'Connor who was 17. She pleaded and begged for her life before Nathan Dunlap shot her in the head. And that to me was extremely sad because, like, imagine you're like, all these people get killed and then you're begging, you're pleading, like, please help me. Or not help me, like, please let me go. And just get shot. And you're just 17. She's not even, like, an adult yet in the U.S. Because most U.S. citizens say, like, when they're 18, you're an adult, you know? You have more freedom at 18, so in my opinion, you're an adult. But, like, she's only 17. So, there was Bobby Stevens, who was only 20 at the time. He returned to the restaurant after a smoke break and thought it was kids popping balloons inside. In my opinion, that was kind of, like, iffy for me, because you hear, like, these loud bangs, and you think it's kids popping balloons inside, but you don't remember the fact that you're closed. Sorry if I'm sounding a little weird, because this case kind of made me, you know, like, what in the world's going on? Because they're closed, and it's only a couple of them. I guess he was trying to not think of the worst and be like, oh, maybe it's just some kids who, like, you know, snuck in. But, you know, while he was unloading the utensils, Dunlap raised a handgun to him and shot him in the jaw. Bobby fell to the floor and played dead. This is one of the smartest moves you can make once you get, like, if someone, like hurts you or shoots you or stabs you, which is anything, but you survive, you should definitely pretend to be dead, because then they're gonna figure, and pray they don't check your pulse, you know, like, hold your breath and, like, pretend to be dead, because, you know, like, and then after, you know, you call for help, you know, when they're gone. My opinion, that is extremely smart, because killers think you're dead, they think you're not harmful, you know, of course they wouldn't. So before killing his last victim, Marge Kohlberg, I might be saying her last name wrong, she was 50 and one of the store's managers, he forced her to unlock the safe. When he opened it, he shot her in the ear and grabbed the cash. Before he left, Dunlap shot at her other ear one final time when he noticed she was still moving. That, in my opinion, is very tragic. I can't imagine being, like, shot. Sorry for the background noise. There's a lot of fans going on because it's really hot right now. It's extremely hot, but I hope you can hear me. I just realized that. Sorry. But the fact that she got shot, and, you know, she probably was still, when she was still alive, assuming that the movement wasn't, like, muscle spasms, you know, but imagine, like, getting shot and being alive and thinking, like, oh my gosh, there's hope, I might make it, I might be able to get help, and then being noticed that you're moving and then getting killed. I can't believe that, because in my mind, that is, like, sad, because she really, probably, if she was alive, because sometimes movement when you die can be caused by muscle spasms. I might be wrong, you know, I'm not a doctor, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of times when there's movement after death, it's like the muscles, like, spasming and stuff. But yeah, the manager who fired Dunlap was not there. So Marge Kohlberg wasn't even the one who, like, fired him. She wasn't even the one who was, like, you know, made him lose his job, and she still gets hurt, which is horrible to me. So he fled the scene with $15,000 in cash and game tokens he stole. And to me, the game tokens part was bizarre. Emily thought it was bizarre too, you know. But we both thought it was extremely bizarre because, like, committed these horrendous crimes and also stole some things as if he didn't murder, like, I think, what was it, 5 people. I'm pretty sure it's 5. But yeah, it's 5. But, like right before, he grabbed a ham and cheese sandwich and played some arcade games, and then he walked out with some game tokens also, along with the cash he stole. It was, when we read that part, it felt as if he just kind of went in and robbed them for some game tokens, like a child. I'm not saying a child would actually do this. There might be a child who would do this. But the things he stole, other than the cash, was a childlike, as if he didn't just horribly murder, like, 5 people who most were either still teenagers or fresh adults. Most of them weren't even over, like, 21. Most of them, you know, still had a full life ahead of them. And he punished them all for something that was kind of his own fault, in a way. Like, he punished them because he got fired. I'm not saying that him being fired was his fault. I don't know what the argument... It's not clear what the argument with the cook was about, but the fact it wasn't any of their faults that he got into this argument and he was fired. So when he had left, Bobby, who was still alive, escaped through the back door and walked to a nearby apartment complex where he pounded on the door to alert people that he and others had been shot. This is a great example of what to do after, you know, you're in like some mass shooting or mass like murder and you're still alive, but the killer thinks they killed you. You know, once you play dead until they leave, and then once they leave, you call for help. So Stephen was hospitalized at Denver General Hospital, and he survived. When the authorities got to the scene, they found 2 bodies in the hallway, one in a room off the hallway, and another in the manager's office. I can't imagine being one of the officers who show up to this place just to see a bunch of teenagers and a 50-year-old just like dead. You know, that's awful. So Sylvia Crowell was also brought to Denver General Hospital, where she was declared brain dead, but she then died the next day due to her injuries in the Aurora Regional Medical Center. So 12 hours later, he was arrested at his mother's house. He was found guilty of 4 accounts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and robbery, and burglary in 1996. In 2008, he tried to argue that his trial attorney failed to mention his mental health issues and child abuse, but in August 2010, he was rejected. And you're gonna see, like, he got the life sentence. But what you see after happens, I remember when me and Emily were researching this case, we were so mad. We were mad about what happened to him. So in 2012, his lawyers argued that if the jurors had heard the evidence of Dunlap's mental illness, he wouldn't be sentenced to death. He was sentenced to the death penalty, which I think he should have been sentenced for life instead, because in death, it kind of feels like he's escaping. You know, in my opinion, the death penalty makes me feel like these criminals are kind of escaping their problems, you know, for things they did horrifically wrong. You know, but in 2013, he was supposed to be sentenced to death, but Colorado Governor John Hopkins decided to put his sentence on hold. It was thought that as long as he was governor, Nathan Dunlap would stay alive. Now, in 2018, Jared Polis was elected governor, and you would think like, oh, he's running against death penalty. But during the campaign, he said he intended to sign a bill that would repeal the death penalty in Colorado. In 2020, he signed the bill and commuted the sentences of 3 men, with Nathan Dunlap being one of them. And you know, after hearing what he did, it's probably, I don't know if it's as bad as some other people have done. You know, it's definitely worse, and we have talked about worse if you look on our channel, and we have talked about worse. But hearing about this man who did these horrendous crimes not be brought to justice because bills, you know, I hope I'm not sure if he ends up getting a life sentence, but he is still alive today and is standing at 50 years old. He's 50 now. I'm pretty sure he's still in jail. Pretty sure he got the life sentence. I'm not sure. But, like, wow. After all of that, he's still alive. Now, this story inspired the very mainstream game called Five Nights at Freddy's, or most people know as FNAF. And wow, I heard about this case a little while back when I first created this script. when we first recorded it, but of course we weren't able to upload that. Like a while back when I was, watching, which is very shocking. I was watching Game Theory, which is very shocking. I was looking into Matt Pat's first Five Nights at Freddy's theory, and he talked about this case, and I thought it was interesting. Me and my friend Emily, who had partnered up for this project, we were already looking for some crime cases to do that weren't very known, and I told her about this one, and we were like, oh, it sounds nice, or not especially nice, but it sounds like a good first thing to do, and then we did it, and then we're like, oh my gosh, we were bad at the end of it, but anyways, that's all for today's episode. This is our first episode that we're going to be showing. It's not the first episode we've recorded. But anyways, I'm Soluna, and I usually have a partner, Emily, with me, but she's not here today for conflicting schedules. And yeah, you're watching Dangerous Patterns, Crime and Caution. I hope you have a good day or night, and we will see you on the next episode.